and sends Forest to Wembley. Nottingham Forest, brilliant season, has another highlight ahead of it.
It was that moment that confirmed Nottingham Forest's place in the FA Cup semi-finals for the first time since 1991. It's Man City in the FA Cup semi-finals. In this video, we're going to be looking ahead to that game, previewing it, how we can win, how we can beat them again, I should say, having only beaten them just last month in that historic 1-0 win in the league. Looking ahead to that, as well as looking back on how we've got to where we are. Let's start with that, going back to a cold January afternoon, and it really was probably the coldest I've ever been at a game of football, this one. A 2-0 win at home to Luton Town, championship opposition off the back of course, the two of us being in a relegation battle, and it was quite a funny game really, because we'd gone from being relegation rivals to each other to one team battling European football and the other battling relegation in the division below. It was a comfortable 2-0 win with our B team dismantling a championship side, and it could have easily have been more. Goals from Ramon Sosa and Ryan Yates. The fourth round saw us take on Exeter City, a classic FA Cup tie, League One opposition against the highest ranked team left in the competition at the time. And we were only in the fourth round, by the way. Exeter played a really good game against us. Okay, we played a second string team, but you probably would have expected us to get the job done in normal time. But fair play to Exeter, they made a tough game for us, having took the lead early on. Tyrell won in, Ramon Sosa scored to turn the game around. Not long after the restart though, Exeter equalised and took us all the way to penalties. This would be a common theme of the FA Cup this year. Penalty shootouts.
Forest. Whitworth needs to come up with something big. It's Williams!
But it's a long journey down to Wembley from Nottingham, and come the end of it, the last thing you really want to be stressing over is where to park your car. Well, thankfully, this video is brought to you by Just Park. Just Park offers you private and secure spaces across all football grounds across the UK. And on match days, the streets around football grounds become very limited and restricted, such as road closures, and if there is a space, it's probably going to be quite expensive. With Just Park, you can book in advance so you have a space from the get-go, and you can save up to 40% in the process. So if you're going to Wembley this weekend, or if you are just a regular away day goer, then please be sure to check out Just Park in the description below. Thank you to Just Park for sponsoring this video and also making my dad's life a lot easier, because he'll be the first to tell you that he finds parking very stressful. Trust me, I know full well from first-hand experience. Then it was Ipswich in the fifth round at the City Ground, and this was a really tight game, not the greatest game of football, but it was a closely contested game, arguably a game we could have won a bit easier than what we did, and we actually did win quite easy in the league a couple of weeks later. But we made hard work of this one, having gone behind in the second half through George Hurst. Ryan Yates then scored his second goal of the competition and equalised, but we couldn't get the winner in the rest of the game or into extra time. So again, it was penalties. But thankfully Matt Sells is in the middle of our goal, and he is a brick wall in these scenarios. In fact, when isn't he a brick wall? So into the FA Cup quarter-finals we go, and this time it's another long trip down to the south coast in Brighton. Not really a great game if I'm honest, a goalless draw, competitive draw, two sides pretty evenly matched off the back of us beating them 7-0 in the league the month prior. It was always going to be a bit of a strain draw on this. I don't really think either side were much better than the opposition, so penalties was probably a fair way of settling it. But thankfully Nottingham Forest like penalties this season, so that was why we settled it again.
Sends Forest to Wembley.
So there we were, through to the FA Cup semi-finals for the first time since 1991. Having already beaten our opposition just last month, we've got every reason to believe we can do it again. However, this time we haven't got that home advantage at the City Ground, which is probably why we ended up winning last month, if we're being honest. But it is neutral territory, it isn't the Etihad, but City are very experienced when it comes to playing at Wembley. In fact, City have reached the last 7 consecutive FA Cup semi-finals, so they are extremely experienced when it comes to playing at Wembley. Then you add into account the Community Shields as well. It's just more experience of Wembley, and then in general, they have got quite a lot of pedigree when it comes to winning trophies. They've had a bad season by their standards, but they are starting to pick up a bit of pace at the moment in trying to at least seal top 4. But the FA Cup is all they've got left to win. I don't know how they cope, I really don't. On their way to the FA Cup semi-finals, they've had a, well, let's be honest, very easy route to this stage. Having beaten Salford 8-0, a narrow win against Leyton Orient, a comeback win against Plymouth, and a narrow win against Bournemouth. Besides Bournemouth, that's incredibly easy for a side like Man City. It will be very nice to see anyone but City win the FA Cup, really, just for a difference. But if we want it to be us, we've got to get past City again. Like I say, no City ground, but last time we were at Wembley, we made the place our own. It sounded like we had the entire 90,000 capacity because we firmly outsung opposition. And at the end of the day, Man City may be more comfortable at Wembley than us, but it's not really an occasion for them. With us, it's everything to be at Wembley again. It's a big occasion for us. So we've got to make the most of that. So lots to play for, but how do we go about business? Let's discuss. So moving over to the tactics board where we can talk about how we might set up, because there's a lot of things to answer. The main one being the fullback situation. Do we have Ola Aina fit? Probably not. So that opens a whole world of possibilities, and possibly not good possibilities. Off the back of Harry Toffolo's unbelievable performance against Spurs, I think that place is firmly his for this game, and suddenly, even though I always trusted and liked Harry Toffolo, I suddenly have a lot more faith in him at least filling in this game. Let's just assume Ola Aina isn't fit. Of course, the reason why we haven't even got Nico Williams is he's suspended, as well as Ryan Yates being suspended too. So it's really up to Eric De Silva Moreira to maybe come straight in. If Harry Toffolo can do it, then I'm sure we can do it with Eric De Silva Moreira. Okay, so I've since realised that Moreira is also possibly injured. I don't know that for a fact. It has been a thing I've seen a few weeks ago as well, so good chance he's not fit either. So this just makes this even more of a problem. Do we play Moreno out of position? Or even Toffolo out of position? We have played Toffolo at right back a couple of times in like friendlies. I wouldn't be too fussed on that though. Milenkovic actually can play at right back, but he never has done for us. I think it's pretty unlikely we see that happen. Do we play Morato at left back? He can play there, but hasn't played there for us. And you play Moreira, or again one of the left backs out of position. Either way, it's going to be makeshift or inexperienced. It certainly isn't going to be Nico Williams and Ola Aina. Let's just cross fingers that we do have Ola fit. I really hope we do, but even if he is, he's probably not going to be at his best. I think if we lose this game, I generally think this could be what costs us. Not because of Harry Toffolo, I think he's proven his worth off the back of that Spurs game. But it's the fact we've then got another fullback missing too. The two main fullbacks missing. Moreno isn't in the best form. Of course, Toffolo, who has done well recently in the last game, but they can't play both on the same side. This is where it's a problem. Like Harry Toffolo was the only natural left back against Aston Villa, and we opted not to play him in that game, when he probably should have done. Looking back in hindsight, we probably should have gone for it. We may as well treat this game in the same way. Moreira's the only natural right back available. Let's just put him in. Now, if we do this, maybe you might want to go extra defensive and play a back three at Wembley against Man City. You bring Morato in, then you probably take out Hudson-Odoi, for example, and you have like Anderson in this roaming role that we have seen him do a bit against Spurs and in the past. You could see that. That gives you a bit more protection with the lack of depth at fullback, but it also just gives you probably a bit more protection because you're playing Man City at Wembley. You've got to be ready, haven't you? I wouldn't be against playing a back three at all, but I probably think and probably would stick to a back four and have Morgan still there, Anderson still here, and I probably would still have Hudson-Odoi. This is actually the exact team that we played and beat Man City with last month, besides the fullbacks. So I wouldn't be at all against playing that exact same team. It probably is the strongest team available that we've come to know this season, again, besides the fullbacks. And in terms of how we play, we've got to just be able to soak up pressure like we did against Spurs, but you'd imagine times 10, because it's City at Wembley, big occasion, big stadium, big team, right, and bigger than Spurs. Doubling up on their players, making it extremely difficult to find space. That's how we beat Man City before. I did an entire video on it. Go and check it out. It's a very good video that didn't get all that many views, so please go and check it out. That's what I'd probably do, really. It's probably, you know, a risk playing a young lad with little experience, but I'd rather play somebody who is a natural right back than shoehorn, I don't know, an out of form left back at right back. I think that doesn't end well. But let me know what you'd do. But hopefully we do have this man, our resident comedian, available, and Ola Aina can play, but I just think it's a bit of a long shot. Let me know what you'd do, everyone, and back to the original camera angle. Please, everyone, let me know in the comments what you think of this video, what you think of the game as well, your lineup, how we should go about business. I really hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you to Just Park as well for sponsoring this video. And up the Reds. Thank you very much for watching.